has filed a $175 million lawsuit against his former boy, Jonah Rechnitz.
This is Rasputin.
His Rasputin. Really, when you read the lawsuit, and I spent a good chunk of my Sunday reading this lawsuit, I don't know how else to think about it. I mean, this guy had this unbelievable hold on Mayweather. His finances, his operations.
Floyd Mayweather sues Jonah Rechnitz for $175 million. A whole lot of people have been talking about it, but they're talking about the wrong story. The real story with the Jonah Rechnitz case is how an informant was allowed to go on a 7-year crime spree and defraud hundreds of millions of dollars from investors. Not only was it supervised by the SDNY and FBI, it was sanctioned by them. In my opinion, this case is the worst case of government corruption involving a government informant in American history. This case is worse than Whitey Bulger, and I'll explain why. Jonah Rechnitz takes the stand in 2016. He's involved in a number of high-profile corruption cases leading to prosecution. In 2019, he leaves the stand and starts committing endless amounts of fraud. You could do your own research. There was 11 lawsuits. Now, I could tell you I'm one of the lawsuits, and I can assure you that I've spoken to endless amounts of victims, and many victims are too scared to come forward because he uses the threat of government against his victims. So for every lawsuit, there's 10 victims that didn't come forward yet. When I sued Jonah and Floyd, I met with the FBI. After I met with the FBI for a number of hours, a grand jury was convened. And then silence. Once I started coming forward with my case, see, I saw very clearly what Jonah was doing. He was using Floyd as a ploy, as a psyop, in order to gain trust with people, in order to defraud them. Everywhere Jonah goes, his only intention is to defraud and cause harm. He has no intention of ever doing honest business, and the FBI and the SDNY supervised it. Now, as I got deeper into the case and started investigating it and talking to numerous amount of other victims, I realized that there's a trend here where Jonah would defraud people, lawsuits would be filed, FBI investigations would be initiated, grand juries would be convened, and then silence. Really what was happening was that the FBI and the SDNY were not investigating. They were squashing it. Why were they protecting Jonah Rechnitz? I don't know. But I know for certain they knew about it. See, 2 months ago, Jonah Rechnitz was sentenced for something that happened in 2016. He was on pre-sentencing release for 7 years. Now, typically, if someone's on pre-sentencing release, they act on their best behavior. In this case, it's the complete opposite. We see someone who just went on a ridiculous crime spree, as if the law does not apply to him, defrauding people at will, extorting people at will, threatening families at will, and then using the government as a way to threaten as a weapon against innocent civilians. He was able to weaponize the FBI against innocent civilians. So this has never happened. You guys could do your own research where a criminal was allowed to weaponize the FBI against innocent civilians. It's never happened. Whitey Bulger, this is why it's worse than the Whitey Bulger case, because Whitey Bulger was gangster on gangster. Here, this is criminal against innocent civilians. And the Biden-era FBI allowed him to weaponize the FBI against innocent civilians. If someone looked at him wrong, they'd have FBI cars trailing them. When Jonah Rechnitz, so he was sentenced 2 months ago, okay, a month and a half ago. Laura Pomerantz, for those of you who don't know who she is the prosecutor in the Jonah Rechnitz case, but also she was the lead prosecutor in the Ghislaine Maxwell case. She writes a 10K letter to the judge before sentencing, requesting leniency for Jonah. I have my lawyer call up Laura and say, hey, why are you asking for leniency? Jonah's been on a 6.5, 7-year crime spree. He has not been acting like the choir boy you claimed to be, you claimed he was acting like. He was acting like a hardened criminal. Her response was very defensive, and she said, those are civil in nature, not criminal in nature. Now, I'm not quite sure why Laura doesn't know this, but the way it works is if someone has intent to defraud, then it's criminal. If someone has intent to do good business and business goes bad, then it's civil. What we have here is government corruption at its worst, suicidal empathy at its worst. We have government officials who supervise Jonah Rechnitz going on a 7-year crime spree as if there was no laws here in America. The law does not exist. As governor of Florida, I want my voters to understand what type of candidate I am. I have no empathy towards criminals, period. I have empathy towards the innocent civilians. If you have empathy towards criminals, then the innocent civilians pay for it. I want criminals, especially repeat offenders, to be in prison for as long as possible. Secondly, I want you to understand how much I absolutely despise corrupted government officials. There is nothing worse in my eyes than officers of the court, whether you're a district attorney or a judge, who pervert justice. In my opinion, there is nothing worse than that. You are a criminal in my eyes. Lastly, this message is to Jonah, being that you've committed many crimes here in Florida, Jonah. As governor of Florida, I'm going to ensure that you are held to account. I'm going to ensure that you no longer are a danger to society. You cannot commit any more crimes, Jonah. I'm going to show you that the law exists.